In this video I'm going to be running through the off-page SEO process. Put simply, it's all about what happens outside of your website, and it's all about building links and a heck of a lot of them. But more importantly, it's about the relationships between each of these links. Now, to start with, what I would suggest, as always, is reading the information that's actually on this page on my site. If you don't know where my site is, you can see the main page there, but this is the off-page SEO page. Now, to start with, there's Google themselves. They have over 200 ranking factors, and to simply focus on all 200 at the same time it's physically impossible. There's enough work to be done already in terms of off-page SEO, and in terms of these ranking factors, in my experience, and in terms of how I get my keywords to number one, I don't focus on all 200. The ranking factors which I focus on in terms of off-page SEO are listed here, with a sort of some brief information about what each part is. For me, this is what it's all about: variety, mixing things up, getting lots and lots of links from lots and lots of different places. Now, no doubt, if you're a newbie and you're new to off-page SEO or any kind of any part of the SEO process, you would have read a lot of information about SEO and how people always say, build links, lots of them, and build links to your links, which is, fair enough, it's true. That is exactly what off-page SEO is about, but it's pretty difficult to sort of visualize. When I read that information and come across it, I understand what's going on, and I know what people are talking about when they say build links to your links. So what I've done, I've actually created a couple of infographics. This is basically what I would say is pretty common, what most newbies will do. They'll invest in some automated SEO software, such as SEO, and they'll basically, without really knowing what SEO is about, they'll take their money site and they'll basically throw links at it. And this is a pretty simple example of what a tier 1 linking structure would look like. Basically, your money site's in the middle. A tier 1 link is basically the first layer of links that point directly to your website. So, be it a forum profile, a Web2 profile created within SEO, wiki sites even, and these Web2 elgs, which I'm now starting to use within Ultimate Daemon, or even bookmarks, press releases, even website directories as well, and articles as well. And obviously, depending on what tools you've got access to, you'll be able to create these tier 1 links from a range of different platforms. Now, really and truly, the more access you have to a wide range of platforms, a wide source of links, then the greater your link building power is going to be. But it's not just about building a shitload of tier 1 links. As I've personally experienced quite a few times over with a few of my sites. I've done this strategy. I've bombarded my site with links from a whole range of different platforms. and follow these off-page SEO ranking factors, such as mixing up my anchor text, so making sure you don't just stick to 1, 2, or even 3. I will launch campaigns with 20, 30, or even 50 different keywords targeting a single page, all related anchor text, but all completely different to each other. So this is the importance of having diverse anchor text. The diverse IP addresses, this is directly related to this. You can see here, there's just, as an example here, I've just got 8 different types of platforms and sites here pointing directly to my money site. The only reason I've put 8 on here is because this reflects exactly the tools that I use. SEO being one of them, Ultimate Daemon more recently being my second tool. And basically between these two tools, I can create a hell of a lot of links from a heck of a lot of different places and different IP addresses, all ranging in different PR values. So, the first initial step is to, yes, do exactly this. Create lots and lots of tier 1 links. Now, what you need to understand about off-page SEO, there's a whole load of other stuff that happens when you build these links. It's not just a case of, launching a campaign, building the tier 1 links to your site, and then expecting yourself to rank number 1 in Google. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. The main reason why simply bombarding your site with links and hoping for the best isn't going to work and get you to number 1 is, firstly, you've got to actually analyze these links that you create. And when I say analyze them, the main thing you're looking for is to see, well, out of these tier 1 links, which ones have actually become indexed within Google search engine and which ones haven't. Quite simply, as far as I'm concerned, an index link, which is quite simply a link that you've created, is then placed within Google search engine index. Now, any link that you have pointing to your money site from a site or a page that is within Google Search Engine Index, that link will impact your rankings in a positive way. Now, if any of these links aren't indexed within Google, you can build as many as you like. If Google don't index that particular link that you've, your tier 1 link that you've got pointing to your money site, then there's no value in that link. It's not going to affect or impact your ranking at all. You can build hundreds, thousands, millions of them. You're not going to get to number 1. You're not going to see shifts or changes in your rankings. Not until this tier 1 link gets indexed. Yeah. So that really should be your first plan and your first goal within your off-page SEO strategy. To get access to as many different platforms as possible, so you get as wide a variety of IP addresses that you can actually, these link sources where you can actually place your content or create profiles on and create these links to your site. Once you create those links, you need to analyze them. And I've created a video already on multi-tier link checking, which is pretty in depth, I should hope, which shows you how to do that analysis process. Now, once you've done your tier 1 links and you've got them all organised and you've analysed them and you know which ones are live, which ones are dead, the next step then is to identify your links which are indexed. Once you've got your indexed links separated, by keyword, the next step then is to build your next tier of links, your tier 2 links, which, let me show you. These are basically an example of how you can do your tier 2 linking. As you can see, the money site's still in the middle. These are the ones in green are your tier 1 links, so they point they point directly to your money site. Now, the tier 2 links, which you can see in this funky purple pink color, these links will point directly to your tier 2s. They'll point directly to your tier 1 links. The green ones, basically, as you can see here. So the purples will go to the green. These ones, incidentally, don't link directly to your money site. If they did, then they'd be highlighted in green and they'd be classed as a tier 1 link. Remember, tier 1 links are the first layer of links surrounding your money site, so they point directly to your money site. Now, the benefit in doing this, there's loads of benefits to doing this. I mean, firstly, by building links from different platforms to your tier 1 links, firstly, what it's going to do, it's going to pass link juice and authority through to your tier 1 links, which then is going to pass that same authority and link juice straight down to your money site. So this is just from building tier 2 links. You can actually go a stage further and then go to tier 3, which is this is well and truly multi-tier link building. You don't have to stop at tier 3. You can go to tier 4, 5. You can go up to tier 10. You can go up to any tier you like. But obviously, the further away you get to your money site, the harder and more difficult it gets to control. But as you can see here, the first layer of links are tier 1s. They're then surrounded and bombarded with tier 2 links here, and then those tier 2 links, what I do, I isolate these tier 2 links using one particular software tool, and then I'll take these tier 2 links and run separate campaigns, what I call tier 3 campaigns. So just as an example, for the money site, I'll take my tier 1 link, which is a social network link. Then I'll take that all of the URLs for my social network campaigns that are tier 1. And I'll list them separately in a notepad file, and then I'll put that back into my software tools. Either into SEO or Ultimate Daemon. Depending on what I want to do. Do I want to build more articles? To the social network links. Do I want to build some bookmarks to the social network links? Do I want to use the wiki source of links and build more links to social networks? Or I could even take more social network link sources, campaigns, and build, a full Monty even on my social network links, which will build another few layers of tiers of links to social networks. So in terms of link building strategies, the things you can do in SEO are pretty much limitless. The limits really are down to how creative you are. But the thing to note here, though, I mean, this is a pretty sophisticated, link building structure, and competitors with all the current tools in the market, if you start building links like this, they won't have a clue what you're doing. If they use Majestic SEO or any of these link data services that report back on your competitors' URLs. Even SEO Spyglass, does something similar, and Ignite SEO, I invested this recently, to try and identify my competitors' URLs. All of those tools will only give you tier 1 links. That's all they'll report. that is it. To my knowledge, there isn't any tool that will, allow you to research a competitor and extract 3 tiers of links for that competitor, that are live, exist on the internet. So, when you start getting involved in this, pretty sophisticated link building structure, your competitors, they're not going to have a clue what you're doing. And I've seen this myself in Market Samurai. I've done the SEO competition analysis, and I'm sure if you're familiar with the tool, you've seen this yourself. You'll see a URL ranks in number 1, number 2. Inbound links, it'll only have 100 inbound links. The other competitors on page 1, they'll have millions of links. And a lot of people ask, well, how the hell did they do that? What's going on? Obviously, they've got the on-page and off-page SEO, for the keywords just right. But what they're actually doing is they're only focusing on these tier 1 links initially. This is what they're doing initially. And then what they are doing then is taking a handful of their social network links or a handful of their article links, basically their most powerful links. And most powerful for me will be, firstly, it needs to be indexed. Secondly, it needs to have a decent PR value, the domain itself. PR 4 and above is a good place to start. So if you focus on your tier 1 links that are PR 4 and above, indexed, those are the links you want to be taking out and putting into your tier 2 campaigns. I'll give you an example. I mean, these social network links, for example, I'll just show you one of my tools. This is Backlink Monitor, which if you've been following all my information I've been sharing, you'll be pretty familiar with this tool. But basically, for one of my campaigns, this is for my landlord's insurance campaign. So what I've done, I've set up a separate project here for just all of my social network links for this particular keyword phrase or this page, landlord's insurance. And the actual page, if I just show you the page anyway, this is the page for landlord's insurance. That's live on the internet right now. This is one of my other projects. As I've shared my health insurance. As you can see, this is a home insurance one. This was until recently ranked on page 1 for a hell of a lot of its keywords. But with a recent Google algo changes, this site dropped hard. But personally, I don't believe it's directly related to the algo, because the algo changed, because I've been doing some pretty rapid indexing on this site, on all of my non-index links, and I've been doing it pretty aggressively. And I did the same with my health insurance site recently. It took about 7 weeks for that site to recover. This one just dropped out of the top 100 about a week, almost 2 weeks ago. So I expect it to come back sort of within 5 to 6 weeks, simply because that's a similar sort of scenario I've experienced with a few of my other sites as well. But basically, what I've done, I've taken my SEO campaigns for this particular keyword phrase, and if I just I'll just open one just to show you what a social network link looks like. Social networks are very similar to article directories. The difference is, the social networks allow you to put your links inside the content. This is one of them, which has not been indexed yet. So basically, what I will do within these links of for the SEO campaigns, firstly, what I'll do is just identify my index links. Because these index links here, these are the ones that are actually within Google's search engine. The fact that they're indexed means that Google sees them to have value, some kind of value. Simply because it's indexed, it's worthy of being in Google's search engine. So the fact that these are indexed means that they are directly impacting my site's ranking. So what I'll then do is I'll take those URLs. If I'll just put them in Excel, I'll show you how many of them I've got so far. So all of those links, there's 122 of them there, 122 live index URLs, all from high PR social network sites. Now at the moment, if I just show you in here, all of these links basically, you can see the inbound links are pretty much 0. This one says 1, just because it's picked up another page there within the same site. So it's not really it's listed as an inbound link, but it's not really, it's a link coming from the same site. But basically, I've not built any links to these links yet. So some of them have got indexed already, which is great, and I should imagine the reason it's got indexed is because A, it's got good domain PR, and secondly, it's because the content on it is unique. The content provides value to Google, hence why they've indexed this already. The other ones that aren't indexed, there's lots of reasons why it's not indexed. It's possibly because the link's still new. Google haven't come around to that particular page or site and actually added it to the search engine index. The other reason why they could have decided not to index it most likely is because there's no more links actually pointing to the site. There's no tier 2 links pointing to the site. So because there's no links pointing to it, but they don't see this as being a link that's valuable or popular or of importance. Hence why they've decided not to index it. But there's lots of reasons why Google won't index it. But there's ways and methods that you can apply to your SEO that will get these links indexed. If we go back to the infographic, so basically social network links here is what I'm showing as an example. Now what I'm doing at the moment, these social network links, I'm using my tools, SEO and Ultimate Daemon, to build more links to these. So I'm going to create a social bookmark campaign and build links to these social network links. I'm going to do a separate wiki campaign and build links to these social network links. I'm going to do another social network campaign within SEO. I'm going to build links to these social network links. Remember, the ones I've highlighted over here that I've listed, these 122 URLs, they're already indexed in Google. So anything that I do to these index links now, they're going to directly impact my money site. If these links are indexed, then any link juice or authority or any more links that get hit with these index links, they're going to have a direct impact on my site. When I say direct, the impact will kick in as soon as these new campaigns, new links here at tier 2 level, as soon as those links are indexed. Because again, remember what I said about index links. If a link is indexed in Google, they're aware of it and it carries far more value. If a link isn't indexed in Google, it may as well not be there. You may as well have not have built it in the first place. So yeah, I mean, your tools, if you like, you need to be clever and smart about how you use your tools. Like I said, most newbies will use their tools, just even SEO alone, and they'll just keep using the same strategy templates, same linking patterns, and just keep hitting their sites with the same IP addresses. That will have a limited value. Obviously, if you do enough of it and you get your links indexed, for low competition keywords, that in itself, it will be enough, believe it or not, it will be enough. But obviously, if you're using the strategy templates within SEO will automate this. If you do a full Monty, the full Monty will emulate, it will automate elements of this. Because if you think about the full Monty, there's there's social networks pointing to money site, profiles, articles, social bookmarks, press releases. But then each of those different modules, they then have other modules pointing to them, more bookmarks, indexer modules, RSSs. So the full Monty campaign itself is a very good example of how you can automate this process. The only downside, as I've obviously mentioned quite a few times with the full Monty, is when you start automating the building of tiers, unless each level is being checked for whether that link is live or dead, then what the full Monty is actually doing, it's building these tier 2 links to tier 1 links that are actually dead. Now, if obviously a tier 1 link dies off, anything you do at tier 2 level, tier 3 level, doesn't matter. Because all of these links here pointing to that tier 1 link, if your link is dead at this stage, then the path from the tier 3 to 2 to 1 through to your site, that path, that route, is broken. And really, this is a pretty complex link building structure. If any of these links here, where you see these green arrows, if any of these links at any of these tiers become broken, then the actual multi-tier strategy, it won't work. It becomes ineffective. Now, in terms of organising this and managing this, 2, 3 or even 4 tier level structure, this is the only way you're going to be able to do it, by using this tool, Backlink Monitor. Simply because, this is what the tool is designed to do. It's designed to organise your links by any tier. I mean, here it's actually in there as up to 5 tiers. I haven't actually got any 5-tier linking structures in place yet. I've got some 4 tiers, yeah, and a few 3 tiers. Most of mine are tier 1, tier 2. I haven't got to this stage yet of 3 and 4 yet. It gets a lot more complicated when you get to sort of tier 4, tier 5, as hopefully you can appreciate, because there's so many things that can go wrong. The further away you get from your money site, the more aggressive you can get with your link building, but also the more careful you need to be in terms of making sure that you're continuously building links to links that's still live. Because any one of these tiers broken is gonna, it's just basically gonna eliminate this entire linking structure. So in terms of your tools, being smart with your tools, what I mean by that is simply, take a particular module and focus on these social network links as an example, and then run a separate campaign with just articles. Build more articles, get those links indexed and point them to your social network links. Do the same with your bookmarks. bookmarks, I bookmark everything. Bookmarks go to my money site, as you can see here. Social bookmarks direct to my money site. Bookmarks, I will bookmark every single one of these tier 1 links. I even bookmark my profile links. There's a lot less value in that, but I do it anyway. Just to make these tier 1 links look more popular. You can point, do a separate wiki campaign and point these at your social network links. Do a press release, and again use the links in the social networks as references within your press release. If you've got access to some ELG sites or PHP Fox, which are other types of blogging platforms, great. Build those. Use those as your tier 2s and point them directly at your social network site, social network links. Now this is a pretty funky link building structure, but the thing is, you got to remember, I only use 2 tools to create this. Because within Ultimate Daemon, if I give an example of what's going on in Ultimate Daemon at the moment, my Web 2s I've got. Let's start here with the articles. So articles, 2,400 sites. Some of those have similar IP addresses, but the majority of them different IP addresses. Press release, it's got its standard database in there, so I've not added any more sites to this, but there's 23 sites in there, which ain't bad. Web 2s, these I actually harvested and added myself, so I've got 600, just over 600 Web 2 sites, which are basically social network sites. They're like blogging sites where you can submit an article, like post, and put your links inside the content, which is pretty powerful. Wikis, 12,000 sites. Again, there's a lot of IPs which are similar, because some of these wiki sites, there's individuals who like to have 10 or 20 of them on the same server. But generally speaking, I've got a lot of IP addresses there on the wikis. Forums I don't actually use within Ultimate Daemon. I stick with SNUKX. Bookmarks. This will load up. Just under 4,000. Plague, PHP Doug, Scuttle sites, and directories, which are basically website directories. There's still value in these. I've only got 400 in there at the moment, but I've been doing some harvesting, so hopefully I should be able to increase this to as big as the wiki list, sort of 10 to 12,000. There's a lot of these directories out there if you know how to find them and take time harvesting them. So that's just within Ultimate Daemon. SENUKX obviously has got its its own database of sites, forums, Web 2, social networks, press releases as well. So just within those 2 tools, I've got access to well over 20,000, 25,000 different IP addresses, different sites. You've got to be clever about how you use all these tools. Having that kind of link building power it's a lot of power, but you need to understand how to use it properly. Building lots of tier 1 links from 25,000 different IP addresses, that's a good start. That is definitely a good start. But after a while, building links from the same IP address, it's gonna start to dilute the impact on your rankings. Because if you have 100 links, for example, coming from one social network site, say for example on here, at the moment, I've put 3 pages of content on here, on this particular site. Now, if I have, say, 100 pages here, or 100 profiles, or 100 different people on here, all writing or talking about my site, great. But the point is, those 100 different people and the links that are coming into my site, they're all coming from the same place. They're coming from the same IP address. That's going to have a limited value after a while. This is where the multi-tier link building plan starts to take effect, because if I take one of my social network links, I can take 12,000 wikis and build 12,000 links to that single social network site. I can then make that social network site even more powerful by taking 2,000 article sites with different IP addresses and point these directly to my social network links. I can do the same, 634 Web2L sites. Again, point these directly to that social network link. Hopefully you're starting to get the idea on the picture. Use these tools, not just to build tier 1s. Use these tools, these SEO tools that you have, to build links to your links to your links. This is the structure you want to be aiming for. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as this. The concept, in terms of how I see the internet visually, this is how the internet works. People will share things, people will link to things they like. The idea of off-page SEO is to use these tools to automate that process. If you think about a popular social network item, if it's that popular, other people on other social networks, they'll talk about it, they'll write about that social network, and they'll link to that social network post. So I'll automate that. I'll run another social network campaign on my social network link. You know, people who love bookmarking and they love the content you're sharing, they'll bookmark that social network link and they'll share it with their friends. So again, you need to automate this. Yeah. You know, if the content you put on here is valuable and worthy, it may even get picked up as a press release and used as a source of information in someone's press release. Even when people write articles about, you know, a particular niche, again, if you have an authority piece of content on a social network link, people will automatically write their own articles and use your social network tier 1 link as a source in their article. So automate this. That's what these tools are for. But like I said, you need to be smart about how you use these tools. Yeah, you need to be organized. You need to be able to separate your tier 1 links by platform. You need to be able to separate your tier 2 links by platform, and even be able to organize your tier 3 links by platform. You know, you can't do that unless you're using this. Well, this is how I use it anyway. I mean, just to give you an example, just import some more project files. I've got different databases for each of my sites. You know, here for example, for this keyword phrase in that page, I've got all my articles. So if I just go to that project there. Oh, I haven't even put anything in there yet. Great. Let's show you another one. Wikis. Have I updated that one yet? Let's have a look. Wiki. There we go. Yeah, we got some links in here. So this is my health site. Let's just collapse all of this. This is my health site, and these are all the wiki links. If I just give an example of, let's try pick a nice domain PR. This is an index link, still live. Yeah, index April 19th, so not that long ago. It was actually, there's the link back to my health insurance page. There's problems here in the format, as you can see, which is kind of annoying. I'm not sure if that's the actual footprint within the software. I mean, this was done with Ultimate Demon. But the point is, I'm trying to make, this link is a PR4, it's an index link. So to me, this is a link of importance, of value. It's also a follow link, which is quite rare actually, because with my experience in these wikis, as you can see with all these X's, majority of the wiki sites they're no follow. Yeah. But this particular one, its index is a PR5, and that one, it links directly to my money site. So if I just click on that link there, you can see it goes straight to my health site, health insurance site, and it goes to that inner page, which I'm trying to rank. Now, this to me is a link of importance. At the moment, that link I've just shown you is here on this map. You know, it's a wiki, it's a tier 1, it points directly to my money site. Now, my plan for this wiki link, I'm going to promote this link. I'm going to treat it as if it's my own website. You know, think about my website here. Look at what I'm doing to my actual website. Well, I want to do the same to my tier 1 link. Yeah. So that wiki link, what have I done so far? Well, I haven't actually started this wiki link yet, but what my plan is, yeah, I'm going to run a social network SEO UX campaign, and I'm going to blast the hell out of that wiki link. I'm also going to use more wiki campaigns and blast some more wiki links to it. I'm going to run a separate bookmarking campaign and bookmark that wiki link. I'm going to write some articles, some unique content, distribute that, and use that same wiki link as a source. I'm going to do the same with my ELGs. I don't really play around much with press releases. Profiles, I love profiles. The X8 profile nuke is my favorite template. I'm gonna blast the hell out of that wiki nuke. Yeah, and obviously by doing that, it's then going to put me in a position where I've created these new tier 2 links that are pointing to that wiki 1, and then I'm going to organise my tier 2 links and do the same again. You know, rinse and repeat. So I build more social network links to these tier 2s, wikis to these tier 2s, bookmarks to the tier 2s, articles to the tier 2s. Yeah. Now, obviously, this process it's long. It takes a serious amount of organisation because you know, think about it. A tier 1 campaign, I'll run them for 7 to 14 days. Yeah, so that's 2 weeks gone before you even get your live link. These tier 2 ones up here, again, I'll run these for a little bit faster. I'll run these for normally 7 days. So that's 3 weeks now. By the time you got to your tier 2 links, yeah. By the time you get in your tier 3s, it will be at least 3 weeks before you can even start or even think about building your tier 3s. Simply because each of these campaigns at each of these level of tiers, it's going to take a week, 2 weeks, depending on how long you schedule your campaigns for. You know, it's going to take a while for this to even create this free tier link building linking structure for just one keyword phrase. And not just that, the impact of this free tier building campaign here, it's not going to take full impact until you get your tier 2 links indexed. Because if you've got your tier 3 links here and they're pointing to links here that aren't indexed, then whatever you're doing up here at tier 3 level is not going to be passed down through to your site, simply because these links here aren't going to be indexed. So a non-indexed link is going to stop the link juice from from this level being passed down and pushed down through to your site. So at every level of linking that you do, you're going to have your processes organized. Tier 2 tier 1 build your link, index them, identify your index links. Build your tier 2 links, point them at your indexed tier 1 links. Once you've got your tier 2 links sorted out, then index them. Once your tier 2 links are indexed, then start building tier 3 links at your indexed links. Because remember, if your link's not indexed, anything that links to it or it links to doesn't count, doesn't impact your ranking. So you got to think about this visually. Hopefully, when you're thinking about your link building and your off-page SEO strategy, and most definitely think about the importance of indexing your links at every single stage, every single level of tier. Because if your link's not indexed, whatever you're doing, whatever links you're building to it, it's going to have zero impact on your rankings. Okay.